Big matchup between the Bills and the Bucs. Bucs are 3.5-point favorites against a Buffalo team that's on a short week. The Bucs haven't lost at home this season, 5-0. So is that spread too low for a couple teams who might be going in opposite directions here?
Too low. I like the Bucs at home a lot. Tom Brady's played a lot better at home. You look at his passing versus interceptions at home versus on the road. He's a completely different player. And then also Buffalo is just an overrated team. They faced an easy schedule, and in that easy schedule, they were able to get up a touchdown or two on their opponents. That made their opponents play one-dimensionally, and then it was easy for them to stop one-dimensional offenses. And so it looks like, oh yeah, these guys have a really good defense. Well, they were just in really positive game scripts that makes their rush defense and pass defense look better than it is. Plus, they've lost Tre'Davious White. That's going to hurt. I think they're really going to struggle. I mean, we have seen them struggle against teams that can establish a run, against teams that can remain balanced on offense. And Tampa should be able to do that. I like Tampa Bay a lot. This line is too low for me.
Okay, too high or too low, this spread, Matt?
It's hard to say. I think we don't really know what kind of impact the loss of Tre'Davious White is going to have, because last week the Patriots didn't even test that at all. Like, they literally didn't throw the ball. I mean, the couple times they did, they were just dump offs over the middle. So I don't really know how much of this is going to matter. Obviously, he's a great player, but my lean is that the line is too high. I just don't really buy into this entire narrative that the Bills can only beat bad teams and they can't beat good teams. I think football seasons are not very long. We've only had 12, 13 games. And it's just like, this is the trend that's happened so far, but I don't think it's necessarily predictive of what will happen going forward. The Bills are a good team just based on like what we know of them over the last couple seasons. Like, just their efficiency numbers this year, if you just look at the full picture and don't just throw away all the games where they played teams who were worse than them, like, it still matters that they have some blowout wins over mediocre teams. And the Bucs are really good too. Like, I think the Bucs are the better team, especially with White out of the lineup. But 3.5 is a big deal. Like, if the line were 2.5, I would say it's too low. At 3.5, I kind of think it's a little too high. Like, I think Bucs should be favored by right around a field goal. So if I have to pick, I think the line's a little too high.
Yeah, Reid, and Bucs have played well at Raymond James Stadium this season. 4-0 ATS in their last 4 home games.
Yeah, thank God Matt's on here, the voice of reason. And we got Jeff and his blabbering on about how Buffalo's not good. At least Pearce is here to back up what Jeff is probably what he was going to say. But I'm actually in agreement with Matt. I'd actually think that the Bills money line, even if it gets at 3, to what Matt was saying, I think the Bills money line at plus 145 is definitely in play. So I think this is too high. I don't think there is any value at 3. Like, this is the highest total, I think, on the slate here. And you have both teams who can score at a pretty impressive clip, right? They can have these one or two big plays, and they can really, put up the points. We saw that with Tampa Bay and Indianapolis just a couple of weeks ago. And the Bucs defense too, they're probably going to be without Jamel Dean. I think he might be out. That's their best defensive player in the secondary that's already banged up. This is an extremely aggressive defense in Tampa Bay, and that's the case, and Buffalo figures it out. And last week was nothing, like Matt was talking about. They held the Patriots to 14 points, 3 pass attempts. I still think the Bills are a good team, but having said that, I'm going to say that it's a little bit too high. I think that the Bills, who have no run game, are going to have to pass a ton in this game, and I think it's too high.